Hey, Kevin, good to see you.
Great to see you. How you doing?
Good.
Kevin, this is Michael, and I know you very well. You're not going to remember me because it's been many years, but I went down to visit you with Devora
Oh yeah, I remember you,
several
brother.
several times. Long blonde hair. You remember me?
Oh yeah.
You're an amazing being, my friend.
Thank you, brother. As are
I'm
you,
very
man.
glad you're on. I can't even believe you're on. This is great.
I appreciate that.
Hey, Jared, it's Burge. What is the meeting code? What is the passcode?
It's 654321.
What is it? 6540321.
Yeah.
Nice.
Hey, great to have you on as well, Burge. Well, for a moment while you were, I'm sure you're getting back on now. Yeah, great to have everybody here. We'll start, well, as soon as Burge gets back on, we'll start. Hey, Burge. Oh, we don't have your audio, Burge. We can see you, but we didn't hear you.
I said I was on my phone and then it didn't have a passcode for me to, anyway, so here I am.
Yay, great to have you. It's great that we're all here. Let's actually get started. So let's start with, we didn't implement Michael's suggestion yet to have just something signed that everyone agrees. So for this time as well, can we all agree with a thumbs up that we can share this video publicly? And Michael, you can do it verbally in lieu of a thumbs up. Okay, cool. And I didn't see Angie. Did you do a thumbs up as well? I didn't catch. Awesome. Thank you. Okay, great. Thank you, everybody. So, wow, it's just so great, to be here and to be present with you guys. There's so much I want to share tonight. And since we have new faces, and also because Kevin's not going to be able to stay with us for a lot of the meeting because he'll share with you, but I want to, let Kevin and Angie introduce themselves first, and then we'll, continue with everyone here, and then dive right into our meeting. So, I want to start. I'm going to introduce both Kevin and Angie, and I just want to start by saying that, when I was having the events that I was producing, back in the day, back in 2014, 2015, whenever I had an audience, like at the Tequesta Drum Circle, where we had a few hundred people, and at Claudia's house with Bagua, where we had a couple hundred people, if I ever had a crowd of people, I wanted Kevin to be the one speaking to those people, because Kevin was always the one that was holding the energy and the space, most in alignment with who I am and what I'm about. So yes, I'm also super grateful to have Kevin here because he holds such great energy. And I know that, with this platform and amongst these people, Kevin is going to elevate all of us as all of us elevate him and each other. It's just, but again, of the people that have influenced me most, spiritually, in terms of being a presence in my life, Kevin has been one of those people for me. Kevin and Burge also, as I'm looking at Burge, to have both of you on the council here, and Kevin now to be joining us. Please, Kevin, share what you'd love to share. I just want to say I'm super grateful to have you here, and Angie, who we'll get to next. But also want to share, because I really want to make sure we're all seeing each other. So also, can everyone make sure they're on gallery view instead of speaker view, so we can all see each other as we're being a group together? And then Kevin, please, share with us whatever you'd love to share. And thank you so much for being here and being a part of this and being a part of this journey with us. It's really going to be a ride. We're excited to have you.
Oh, it's an honor, man. Thank you for that intro. Humbling and inspiring. I appreciate it, brother. It's always been a treat connecting with you, and every time we've connected, the visions always parallel the ideas of it, the systems of it. So it's always I told you before, I always support anything you're involved in, because I know we're in the same resonance and understand the capacity of possibility and the importance of structure and the systems and that reference. So it's an honor to be here with all of you, and Jared has spoken so highly of everyone, and some of you I know in passing and in connection throughout the years of doing this. And based on where I am right now in my life with what I've been building up, the light beings and sacred sons, and what we're doing organizationally. I have a spiritual practice and life path called Creatorhood that I teach from, and we've started moving in those realms of exploring how do you design systems, right? Like economic systems, governance systems, education systems that actually function from a more unified space of consciousness and more sustainability and more adaptability to the way that consciousness grows, evolves, and moves. And it's been such a treat to be in those spaces and meet with different organizations around the world with that dedication, along with still teaching the practice and guiding and in my own journey of continuing to expand in my embodiment. So it's an honor to be with you all with the same vision, knowing that we are so capable of creating the world in really epic ways that just supports all of existence thriving. And I'm always honored to be a part of that. So it's an honor to be here and share space with all of you and be in this creative dedication with all of you. So thank you. And thank you for what you've done and called in, Jared, with everybody as well, man. So I'm very honored to be here with each of you. Thank you.
What's the name of it again, honey? I couldn't understand what you said the name was.
Creatorhood.
Create what?
Creatorhood.
Oh, Creatorhood. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
For sure.
Creatorhood.
So awesome.
If I might just add, the very first time, the first event that I saw,
Kevin,
this giant owl came swooping down over his head and landed right behind him.
Yes.
And if there was ever an animal totem to
Right?
describe a human being better than that, I was blown away, and I was just like, okay, I think I know who this guy is. So.
That's so awesome that you remember that, Michael. I appreciate you so much.
Oh, I look for those things, though. Those are the things that are very telling. If you're paying attention, the universe is always communicating a lot of information to us. It's just,
100%.
Oftentimes we're too focused in. But anyways, just wanted to add that.
Thank you for that. Oh wow, I appreciate
I didn't want to make you blush, but that was pretty amazing, and I really honor you. So thanks for being here.
Yeah, it's an honor, brother. Thank you. Love you, man.
Right back.
It's so great. Thank you guys so much. It's so awesome. I'm going to introduce Angie now, but I also want to welcome Aaron, who just joined us. So great to have you here, Aaron. Thank you for being here. So thanks for being here, bro.
Hey, just unmuted myself there, so to connect with you guys. Oh, it's so great to be here. Thank you, and great to see Kevin on here. And hello, everybody else. I'm still a little under the weather, so I'm just kind of passively listening along tonight, just to stay in the loop with y'all. But good to be here, and thank you again, guys.
Yeah, thank you for being here, Aaron. In spite of being under the weather, we really appreciate the dedication. Awesome to have you, and excited that you will be absorbing it all. And let me introduce now Angie. Angie, it's been so amazing to, like I was sharing with you last time we spoke, think back over the years. So I was remembering, like, the first time I could remember meeting you, which I think was at I Love Yoga when it was on 163rd Street in North Miami Beach. You remember that location? I don't know, Kevin, if you ever went there, or Aaron, back in the day. That was back in like 2006, 2007, 2008 maybe, or something like that, like back then. And to see, Angie, the evolution of you in so many ways. And I didn't even tell you, when we were talking the first time recently, now just I guess a week and a half ago, I could tell how much you've been, relating with people on the level that you described, and you're going to be sharing with us, because your whole way of being has evolved in a much more like sophisticated way. Like you're really on a much higher business level and business communication level than last we connected. And it's really awesome to see what you're bringing to the table now with all of that, like what you are involved in and like what makes up your world. And I am also, super, super grateful that you and your energy are being at the center of this creation, along with Kevin and Burge and Aaron and Michael and Kat. And I should say, Angie and Aaron, is also like one of the like energy holders for me in my world. So, to have all of you like really solid energy holders, Kat and Michael, you guys just showed up into my life, but you anchored in like immediately as well. So, it's been awesome. And Angie, to be present right now with where you're at and what you're bringing to the table, what you are showing up as a leader, just really, really excites me to see like, what's possible, what we can all create together. And I'm so grateful for you being here and being drawn to be a part of this co-creation, because like I shared with you, I see that you should be here, and I see, there's obviously a heavy weightedness towards the South Florida community, since that's where my network has been the last few years. But I see you guys, Angie in particular, Kevin, Aaron, you guys, you lead other leaders. Your presence here is going to have so many other people choosing in, and that's what's so awesome. And Angie, I see that from like so many dimensions from you. I'm going to stop and let you share, because I feel like you're holding so much big energy in so many different areas. It's really, really powerful. And I'm super, super grateful for you bringing all of that to our Leadership Council. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you, Jared. That was such a lovely way to introduce me. I'm so grateful and honored for your invitation into this beautiful Wisdom Council. And I'm super grateful to be meeting all of these beautiful soul lights on this earth that we have right now, united. And I must just say, I've just been listening to my intuition and just been listening to where the light has guided me of where I need to be at what specific moments in time. And I have just trusted that. And somehow every time I do that, there's like these miracles that happen. So just a little bit more about myself. My name is Angie Rainbow G. I've been known in the South Florida community as the permaculture yogi. When I first met Jared, I was teaching yoga and permaculture at I Love Yoga. I facilitated several permaculture courses along the years. For those of you that don't know what permaculture is, it's basically permanent culture. It is how to create a culture that is self-sustaining and regenerative on the planet so that we don't actually extinguish our race. And also along the years, I've also been developing herbal and nutritional product lines, which we're now launching as a fundraising mechanism to build eco-villages. And our first eco-village is in Costa Rica. We already bought the land with my partners, and now we're just looking to develop it. And we have, several partnerships and alliances that I spoke with Jared last time that I met over my years traveling and just connecting to the right people. One of the alliances that I connected with, Eco Rainbow Goddesses, is the name of my non-for-profit organization, which is about empowering women and also to educate and support children, families, and communities to live their best life in harmony with nature. And in that quest of developing my organization and just connecting with powerful alliances, I met Ascended, which is another organization that I became a part of. And you can look them up at ascended.life. And when I met with my partner from ascended.life, we were talking about creating a system where we can be a platform for all of the different healers around the world and change makers around the world. And so there's been this alliance where the Ascended is supporting other creators, organizations, and affiliates of the company to do good. We're creating a media company that also has a New Earth metaverse layer on it, because we know that the metaverse is now something that is very, very popular, and it's going to happen. More and more people are going to get connected to the internet, and as that happens, people are going to get more and more lost. So as that happens, we want to create a metaverse that's actually going to reward people for doing real world solutions, actually doing good things for the planet, doing good things for the environment, doing good things for the people and for the health of the people. So we're integrating basically like a gamification layer to our whole ecosystem that is also has like a cryptocurrency layer attached to it. So basically our players are going to be able to win Ascended tokens as they're doing Ascended quests and fulfilling roles for the different quests that we're going to have that are going to be to help all the different projects that our partners have. So I'm sending some information about the different things that I'm involved with, so you guys have some idea of what I'm doing. Like Jared said, I'm doing a lot of different things, and they're all part of one whole, right? So I just posted the Ascended.life and the Ascendia XR, which is the New Earth metaverse. You could also look up New Earth Now. That's another one of my partners that I work with for basically creating permaculture design around the world. And when people think about permaculture, sometimes they think about like hippie communes, or they think something like that, right? But what we want to do is we want to bring permaculture even to the mansions, right? We want to make a mansion that is completely regenerative and sustainable, so that we can have higher classes also wanting to invest in creating a positive change for the world. I've been talking to a lot of different people and researchers, environmental researchers that are part of our teams, and we literally have less than 10 years to correct our path on our climatic CO2 emissions and how we manage our resources. So all of these things are very important, and that's why we are creating a platform that is going to help us get all the different voices out there that need to be out there, and create gamification and reward systems for people to really start taking it as a game, because people like to play, and then all of a sudden you can have real world rewards, right? So that's just a little bit of everything that I'm into. I'm also a Tantra yoga teacher. I've been basically melding my Thai massage, and I call it Thai Tantra yoga. So I do Thai massage with a tantric twist, and I do one-on-ones, and I'm now creating a website and a platform for the education on how to manage your sexual energy and how to direct that sexual energy towards creative processes and towards rejuvenation and self-healing. So yeah, I'm a little bit in different parts of wellness and holistic health and environmental balance. And I feel like this is a great place to unite with other like-minded spirits and minds and hearts.
Absolutely, Angie. It's all so amazing what you're sharing. You know, the Ascended Life, just to let everybody know, you know, I checked it out, and I shared with Angie that, you know, I'd really love to see how we can interface our ideas, you know, how we can potentially, and that's really the idea. And you guys kind of have a sense of this, and Angie and everyone the new people will get more of a sense of it. But, you know, we're building this open platform, open source, open everything. The idea is that everything can plug in with everything, right? That's really the idea, is that anybody can create what they want to create in their corner of the world, and it plugs in with the whole rest of the system, right? That's the ideal of the infrastructure we're creating, kind of like an operating system, right? So you get all these apps and you add all these apps to your phone. So imagine in the end that we're providing the operating system, and then Angie's got some, business that wants to plug in, and Kevin's got some business that wants to plug in, and Burge has some, and it's a platform to allow all of the flow to happen however people want it to flow. And you guys will understand more of what I mean by that as we continue tonight, and we'll get into the rest of the introductions in a moment. I just wanted to follow up with what Angie just shared again with that particular, the gamification. I think, probably you guys know, just casually knowing that, gamification of systems is a proven, technique, right? It's a proven technique to be able to create higher level results because people are striving to be rewarded and all of that sort of thing. So there's a lot of aspects, and I'm just gonna kind of say this very broadly because I don't want to go too deep into it tonight. But as we are the center of consciousness of Uniting for Action and what's getting created, we get to essentially decide what gets incentivized within the system. Just like Angie is saying, I hadn't been thinking about, kind of the real world quests that Angie and Ascended Life are focusing on. So I think it's awesome that you guys are doing all of that. And I want to definitely see how we can plug in with all of that. In my mind, again, we'll get into, projects and sharing and all of that sort of thing. But like, for example, sending referrals to people and connecting people and making, connections and doing things to help people, to earn points within the system, to earn recognition, to earn dollars, to earn whatever it is. We definitely are going to gamify whatever we can in the future, around just about everything we're doing, because it'll all be ways to measure things. So I think, that you guys are doing that already. I'm definitely interested to see, and, maybe the whole, thing will expand and change and evolve. We'll see what we can do together. So I'm excited to connect, and see where we can go with that in particular, Angie.
For sure. Yeah, this is very exciting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's go ahead and continue with the introductions, because I know Kevin again has to leave, but let's have Burge and Kat and Michael introduce themselves, and then we'll get into the meeting as quickly as we can. So Burge, would you like to go first?
No, not really, but I will.
Okay.
Has Aaron been introduced?
Well,
or did I not meet him before?
He was in the first meeting, but he just jumped on to say he was feeling under the weather. So okay. He's welcome to jump in to introduce himself, but I think he was taking the opportunity to not introduce himself tonight.
Okay, yeah, I don't think he was at the other meeting I was.
Aaron, you can chat into the chat if you'd like to be introduced or introduce yourself, or if you want to sit out for tonight. Yeah, go ahead, Burge, while we wait to hear back from Aaron.
So, hi, I'm Burge, and I'm like Cher. I only have one name. No, I'm kidding. Some people call me the Burge, right? So, I don't know. I've been involved in transformational workshops and in those a lot of different modalities for now 40 years, and I've had Essence of Being for 30 years, and I've taught on 6 continents with Essence of Being. So I love the light beings there, Kevin. I like that. We're beingness, right? And have coaches all over the world and taught children and adults and companies. And I have a nonprofit called the HealingForestFoundation.org. And we built schools in Liberia and in Tanzania, to get the kids out of the drug trade and the sex trades. And we have, it's been quite an evolution And I also am a channeler. And so we use a lot of different modalities, anywhere from rebirthing to doing kinesiology to psychodrama, and it's very hands-on, very experiential. And Jared knows, he's been to Essence of Being, and I've been coming to South Florida. I'm based in Atlanta, but I've been coming to South Florida for 27 years now with Essence of Being. And we've launched the Conscious Leadership Academy that has the essence of being, essence of abundance, essence of relationships, essence of leadership, essence of communication, and essence of success. And then we do a lot of Native American ceremony. We have trainers from all around the world that have added so much to what we do. And it's just this, we're building a global consciousness of leaders, conscious leaders, empowering others to create a win-win world. And Buckminster Fuller is one of my mentors that I worked with and sent, creating more of his lineage, along with Course in Miracles and Law of Attraction, of course. And I've been doing this for a long time. And so I know a lot of people in the world, and I knew them when, and expanded that. So I have books and all that stuff. So where I'm at now is wanting to expand and support and empower others to continue the play and the work in the world. And it's all through education, so that really having people understand their subconscious thoughts and really working in that realm and bringing in the emotional connection and the spiritual connection. Of course, mental, but I think a lot of platforms use the mental, but not as much the emotional and spiritual, because they get scared of that perhaps. And so what we've done is gone into a cellular level with all of our experiences that we have with people. Yeah.
Yeah, and thank you for that work that you're doing, Burge. I was compelled to share, as you were saying, that I've done a lot of different transformational, workshops. I've done Psy seminars and Tony Robbins and Landmark and Gratitude and Essence of Being. And where Burge goes with workshop participants in Essence of Being in her workshops is far beyond where any other transformational system that I've ever experienced goes. She's, they don't even come close. So it's a whole different realm that Burge is operating from than really anything else that I've seen out there. So I really deeply honor and appreciate you, Burge, for holding that space where others, for whatever reason, are unable to bring themselves to go, right? So it's amazing where you show, others what's possible.
Thank you, honey. No, I really appreciate that.
Yeah.
And it's definitely holding the space. Great. Yeah. So empowering others, that's where I'm at.
Yeah. And I want to also
I've been doing for so long. It's like, you guys, that's why I want to expand to that global, just supporting others to keep this going, because it is really important, especially now because of what's happened in the world and happening with all the cultures that I've been teaching as well. Just being able to be authentic and love each other and love themselves enough to understand who they are and how magnificent and powerful they can be. And again, I think so many of us are lacking right now in that connection, and just a physical connection, because of all the isolation and the divisiveness and all the things that are happening in the world. And it's really education. That's the key. So if you don't know what you don't know, then you don't know. And if you
100%.
right, yeah, that's called the Burgism. Okay.
Come on with the Burgisms. Let's go.
All right.
and yeah, it's so great. And I want to acknowledge and thank you, Burge, also for taking the time last Monday. Burge spent like over an hour on Zoom with me, just asking me all the questions to really understand all the different aspects of Uniting for Action, what we're doing, that just weren't totally clear yet. And she got really crystal clear on all of it. And then she's like, oh, I can connect you with this, and I can connect you with this. And it's just like, her whole, world just expanded into just the natural support that I knew, was there as soon as like it was all clear for her. And thank you for taking the time and being willing to do that and being fully present, with us in this co-creation, that we're all creating.
Now I'm excited. I mean, you've gathered quite a vortex.
And we're really just getting started. There's so many more that will be joining us as well. It's going to be great. And especially that, we do have such a high quality, amazing core that for sure others will more quickly join us. And that's what's going to happen. So great. Thank you. I'm going to have Michael and Kat introduce themselves. And then I think Kevin may be bowing out after that. We'll let him have a word. But Michael, please go ahead and introduce yourself. And then Kat after that to wrap us up.
All right, I'm going to do my best because this I can feel another wave of fever kicking in my brain.
So sorry to hear that, and thank you also for being here, Michael. It's the dedication.
No, I wouldn't have missed it. It's just this has been a pretty rugged little health thing, anyways. First I'd just like to say it's really an honor and with humility to be around some just really obviously some very gifted and commanding and intelligent and creative people. So I just like to put that out there. I've gone through this before. I came from a pretty logical, rational background. The sort of spiritual end of this has kind of been this kind of icing on the cake in the last probably decade of my life in full force. I went to college when I was in 6th grade. I had a good brain. I tried to foster that in every way that I could. I studied at some amazing universities around the world under some just fantastic minds. And then I worked for Apple Computer for 12 years. I was kind of there before they had the genius guys. I was sort of like their genius guy kind of thing. And then a lot of things actually fell apart in my life, which caused me to sort of turn, and I began to really recognize a civic responsibility, I guess, to the people around me and to the world. And in that capacity, I built a 300-acre urban park, a very unique kind of thing. I involved a lot of the school kids and companies and things, and there were a lot of really creative and cool ideas. And that led to me actually being asked to go around the state of Vermont and even the country, talking about how access to our environment is important, is really what it came down to. And I acquired a bunch of, national, environmental awards and things like that. But then, as I said, the universe had another plan and kind of gave me a big bash in the head. And that led to my almost half a year in the Amazon amongst the shaman and the medicine, and being initiated and being sat by the fire with this indigenous tribe, and really starkly being told that our world's in trouble, and you're part of this, and you're going to go back, and you're going to be led to many, many people who are very important chess pieces in this game. And it's not that one chess piece is worth more than another. A chess match could be won with a pawn, really. So it's not about that, but there are certain chess men on a board which have a greater reach. They can move more, spaces ahead or look forward ahead. And so to that capacity, that's, I think, really where I've been. I've just been sort of led around, certainly the country, meeting up with some really super important people. I from what I've been shown, who are instrumental in sort of that butterfly effect of rippling ideas and just important values and just maybe even just subtly changing the person's life who's later going to become the head of some company that then comes up with some idea that changes the world. So along that, I've just been doing my best, and Jared's thing came along at a very unique time for me, where it would seem that my direction is being changed yet again. And it's been a little stumbly last couple months for sure, but I've been doing my best to kind of just hold on with that and trust the breadcrumbs and follow the white rabbit and however else you want to sort of put it, which has brought me here amongst you. So, and I'm sorry for the lack of video and stuff. I I look like a ghost and kind of feel like one a little bit tonight. So I apologize for that, but it's really humbling to be amongst you all. So thank you.
Thank you for sharing all of that, Michael. It's so amazing. And, I'm so grateful that you shared and Angie shared, you're following the signs and the intuitions, and you got such a clear sign from the universe. Do you want to share that? Because I think it's indicative of what's been happening around our group, not just with you, but others that have reached out, just serendipitously. So
I would absolutely love to, because this is actually something that I try to teach people in the groups that I'm brought before, which are not as probably as organized as all of you, and I applaud all of you for the structure that you've put to it. I've, for whatever reason, I found myself, it was interesting. I was in the Amazon, the shaman were like, do you think that it's any coincidence that you've never been married, that you've never really had a home, you've always been kind of this wandering sort of soul? And it was so that because somebody's sitting on a mortgage probably couldn't do what you're doing right now, and it made me think of that. But the signs that Jared are alerting to is that I had a fascinating date. Both my parents died on 12 years apart. My father when I was 9 from melanoma cancer, and my mom was hit by a car on 11/23. And I would go to the cemetery many, many times and be sort of amazed at the coincidence of that. And indeed, as a sort of a scholar of mathematics and probability and the rest of it, which is integral to the computer design things that I had been involved with, coincidence just seemed like this very strange anomaly that I couldn't kind of quite fit into my, into the normal universe. And so I would sit, in the graveyard there looking at my 2 parents' stones many, many times, wondering what would cause that to happen. And it wasn't until I was in the Amazon, probably 2.5 months into it, that during a ceremony, they were like, come on, Michael, all your mathematics, come on. This is, of course, phi. This is the golden sequence, the golden mean. And it begins with 1, 1, 2, 3, 5, and expands out to that. And what they have found is that most the universe itself is highly based on that, the spirals of galaxies and the rest of it. And so, being a little more concise here to what Jared's saying, Kat literally called me not only on 11/23, but actually at 11/23. Though
on 11/23 about this opportunity,
which was in a different time zone for her, so she had no, things. And so, these are and understand, like, all of our symbols are unique to ourselves. We all form a lexicon of symbols across our lives by the books we read and the movies we watch and the artwork that we're pulled to, and the education occasional languages that we sort of explore. So we each have a very unique set of symbols by which to utilize what I'm speaking about, what Jared was speaking about. And it's really just simply about paying attention to that. And I mean, again, it's wonderful you're asking me this, because I just my singular memory of Kevin is, sitting down and no long, the first time that I had ever kind of come across him, and this giant owl, flying over his head. And you might not put too much to that, or not even notice it or something. But to me, that was a very powerful symbol of the shaman. In fact, the owl is the bird that can see in the dark, and very, very powerful bird of prey. And both the Native Americans, the Peruvian shaman, all have a beautiful lexicon of symbols by which they govern their lives. And ours doesn't necessarily have to be that. It doesn't have to be as elegant. I'm sorry, Kevin is an owl swooping down behind them for you to get the information that you're looking for. And at the very minimal, it's just when you see coincidence, when you see some sort of symbol that sticks out at you, go towards that for sure. There's something there for you. And that's why I went here. The end.
The end.
Yeah, I greatly appreciate that the symbols were there for you. I greatly appreciate, Angie, that you said you're following your intuition and you were led here. I really, and all of you, and I know all of you do that, and all of you are here because of your intuition, and you're putting in, what you feel is appropriate, based on the opportunity, and you all are seeing the clear opportunity to shift the planet however we choose, because we are powerful enough to do that, and we're doing it. So
I gotta slide off, you guys, but Jared, I'll still, this is recorded, right? So I can grab the recording from you.
yeah, for sure.
Because I want to hear everyone's stories and about you too, Kat. So I'll check in for
Okay.
that.
Bye, Kevin.
Bye,
Bye.
you guys.
Awesome.
Look forward to
Kevin,
connecting
thanks for
further.
being here. Great to have you.
Bye. It's good to be here. Love you guys. I'll see you soon.
Love you too. See you. Okay, yes, Kat.
Yeah, so I kind of believe, as Elon Musk does, that we're in a simulation, that we are just software and pixels, and it feels really real, but I think we're inside a game. And I do think, I love Angie. I already signed up for your thing. Like, I went in and just signed up for it. A lot of what I have surmised as the world's biggest problems, you identify it on your website. And I believe that we are here to crack the code. I want to get trained with Essence of Being immediately, as soon as it's in Fort Lauderdale, Burge. I somehow, since meeting Jared, I've gone from struggling to selling houses to having a $2.8 million apartment building deal drop in my lap. And if that happens, the commission on that, I can just focus on joining Jared full time. I think that there's an urgent need for the world right now, based on where it's headed, to like crack the code on this thing, but I totally believe it's crackable for a happy ending. That humans were not put on the planet to work 40 years in a job that they hate, sitting at a computer, coming home, getting drunk or high so they can deal with their like existence, and doing it over and over and over again, which is a lot of the planet. That is not what we came here for. That's not what we're here for. The environment is suffering. We're all kind of suffering on these different levels. And when Jared reached out to me, there was something about his languaging, and the fact that he knew somebody like Burge, who's so amazing, who's given her life to to transformation, her entire life. Just the patterns I was seeing, the fact that we knew a lot of the same people. I think we're up to a really big game, a really big project. And I just think we need to get organized. We all want the same thing. And the most compelling thing that, Jared, that you said to me was, I said, oh, this is going to be a platform for the 99%, finally. He goes, no, unfortunately, no. I was like, what? He's like, no, it's got to be 100%. You got to have 100%. It's got to be whole and complete. So all those people from World Economic Forum, like everybody, like it's got to work for everybody. So I totally see it as possible. I have a very, very good marketing background from corporate America. I've worked for large companies in very high marketing positions. I've seen companies get sold for 70 and 100 million that I've been a part of. And, you know, that was the buyout or the sellout to a larger corporation. But let's just build this where it's just the thing. Like everybody wants to be a part of it. Everybody gets the dynamics of it. We just need a clearinghouse for all of us to come and say how we're going to do this and then do it, if that makes any sense.
It does. It's such a great lead in to what we're doing tonight, the manifestation process. So it's so great. Thank you for sharing all of that. And thank you, Kat, just for being so all in on the idea of it, you know, the resonance. Kat has been the one person that has been most resonant with me and all that I'm bringing, all the new ideas. Like Kat gets it all. She's on top of it. She's suggesting things in all of these areas. She's got really great perspective and offers really great alternative ways for me to see things that I've, you know, often agreed with once Kat has, you know, pointed it out. So I really honor and appreciate, you know, your intelligence and your analysis and, you know, the way that you see things and the way that you communicate things and break things down. I really, you know, value you being here, Kat, and, you know, I'm excited to, you know, keep creating even more and more.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's really great, you know, to be with all of you in this creation. I'm really excited to dive in. Angie had shared with me that she wasn't feeling so great. So Angie, it's up to you if, you know, you want to stick around as much as you want. We're going to, you know, share some things. It's up to you. Let, you know, I know.
Yeah, I'm sticking around for as long as possible. I went to this Fireflies gathering over the weekend in this really beautiful space that I think they're definitely a really great
Cahill Head?
partnership.
Like with
Yeah.
Cahill? Yeah, who doesn't know Cahill? We need to talk to Cahill. Yes.
I sent him a couple messages, but I'm going to be more persistent in following up with him.
Yeah, no, the place there, it's literally beautiful. I actually want to talk to him about being one of our ascended partner spaces, because we want to create like a partnership of ascended spaces throughout the world.
Nice.
And yeah, I already talked to him about doing.
I think
probably you do.
Yeah.
He's amazing. He's an amazing guy. Yeah.
Yeah, but I was there all weekend. It was nonstop. I didn't get much sleep for the new year. So right now I'm just like very sore. I'm feeling like the onset of a cold, but I'm drinking all my immunity blends from our Eco Rainbow Goddesses, herbal products and tinctures and things. So I know I'll feel better soon. We're just today I'm feeling a little bit tired, worn out.
We appreciate you being here as well. You know, half our lineup
I'll hang out
here.
as much as possible.
Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you so much, Angie, for being
Loving
here.
the conversations.
Angie, is Jody Darren part of that too?
I don't think I know Jody.
No. Okay.
No.
Okay.
We'll figure it out.
Yeah. So thank you all for sharing so much. So grateful for all of you and so present to who is here right now. And I'm going to be sharing this information, obviously, with you 6 that are here, but also obviously with the video. And I really want to brainstorm as much as we can tonight, because what I'm going to show you is the very first draft, very early draft. I expect this to get refined a lot. And it's through practicing with us, like each one of you is going to be a user of the system, and we're going to together figure out how to use all of this. So let me dive right into the agenda that I want to go over tonight. Okay. So first of all, if you haven't seen it yet, and Angie, I guess you didn't get this before, so this will be new to you at least. So this is the link for our last meeting 2 weeks ago, and that has some of the things like the Uniting for Action email account, setting that up, setting up your Google account, setting up your Slack account. I didn't really follow up a lot with anybody over the last couple of weeks. I went very deep in the last week, especially into what you guys are going to see. So really now we can revisit this and that information, and we naturally want to set these up because we're going to be in communication more. So for those of you that haven't set up your Uniting for Action email, your Google account, and your Slack account, use that link to give you the instructions of how to do so. Angie, I have to set up your email address still, so you won't be able to follow the directions yet until I set up your email address. But
okay, that's okay. Right now, I'll be more like listening, and then you could send that to me.
yeah, I will send it later.
Okay.
I want to make a quick note because I'll forget if I don't make a note.
I'll send you my email.
Okay, yeah, send it to me.
Mhm.
Okay, let me go back. Okay, so we've introduced the new Leadership Council members, which is awesome. And our new sponsor, as I shared with you guys, is Electric Token. And it's really awesome, as I shared in the message to you guys on Friday. We're going to do an analysis like what we're going to cover in the rest of the meeting with them to help present their business to the world. And it's really awesome because the opportunity is there for us to present all, businesses with the opportunity to use these systems to create what they want. So Electric Token, as I shared with you guys, is an NFT promotions development company. I mean, they're really doing all aspects of it because they're working with artists that have something of value to share with the NFT. Like they worked with the Jamaican bobsled team to help them raise money to go to the 2022 Olympics, as an example. And they've worked with other artists, musical artists, visual artists. So, and they're working on all sides of it, helping educate the public and help explain to people how they can get involved in NFTs and that sort of thing. So you'll hear more from them. We'll share more with them coming up in the coming weeks, as you'll see, as we'll do the analysis and share it with everybody. We have a new student intern. Afomia, I shared with you guys, is a Ohio State University student that just reached out to us. Something had been posted in one of the student groups that she belonged to, and so she saw our information, she saw our website, she reached out, and she's interested in making a difference in the world. She's thinking maybe climate, maybe pollution. We're going to have the opportunity to help direct how she's using her time and attention within the scope of what she'd like to do. And she's her major is neuropsychology. So it's very interesting, opportunity to see how she can apply that to what we're doing as well. So just to share that. And then a follow-up from the last meeting is that I'm still working on a new mission, a new vision, a new pledge, like we talked about last time. Part of it is flowing from what we're going to get into tonight with the manifestation process and really, dive into all of that. So any questions or any comments about anything that I just shared here? Okay, great. So let me continue. So now we're going to go into the manifestation process. And I'm going to share with you first the diagram that I had shared with you on Friday, as what I'm seeing now is as more of a simplistic way to think about it, but I think a valuable way to think about it. So if you think about it, we're creating the opportunity to declare a vision or intention. So you say what you want to the world. And then we go through this analysis to really break down what you want in the world, like what is the strategy that needs to be employed to do that? You know, what sort of organizing is required? What sort of financing is required? What about the management, the technology, and the outreach? So these are the lenses through which we do an analysis of the vision to really narrow in on what stakeholders or resources are required, specifically in each one of these 6 areas, right? Who do I need? What do I need in terms of strategy or financing or technology? What are the needs? So once the needs are identified, then essentially there's an offer or incentive. Now this goes both ways. There's an offer or incentive to the prospective stakeholder. So, hey, I'm looking for what you can do for me, and I'm willing to give you this, you know, amount of money as an example, since that's the traditional way we've typically hired people, right? So I need you, I would hire you for this amount of money. And in this system, it could be many other things other than money, but that's an example of, okay, so here's the incentive, the offer. Not only can you potentially offer that to the stakeholder or resource that you're looking for what you're doing, but also you could create an offer or incentive for somebody to refer that type of need that you have. So that's the real leverage here, because now essentially, if you're providing something that's lucrative, let's say, for example, like a 10% finder's fee or something like that for any business that gets done between 2 people, that if you know that up front and all you have to do is connect 2 people and 10% of whatever the business that's done between them is going to go in your pocket, then you would want to connect people all day long, because you could be making money all day long. And that's essentially where this system is going. That's one of the realities that can get created from using this system. I'm going to go into the other parts, but because that's new for some of you, any questions about what I just shared?
Yeah, I have a question.
Yeah.
So what, you have to explain it to me in layman's terms again. Are you saying that we're incentivizing, like for instance, I have an affiliate program, and you're saying if I guess I'm trying to understand if I'm offering something and what's the incentive if you do it, or if I need something and then what's the incentive if you do it. So
yes, so let's
like an
use
affiliate program kind of thing.
Yes, exactly like an affiliate program kind of thing. So it's basically that everyone has an affiliate program kind of thing about whatever they have, and everybody has one. And so you're an affiliate for all of your friends, essentially. So everyone in your network that you want to be an affiliate for, you're an affiliate for because they're in your network and you can rep them essentially, right? So like you see a need. So actually the system here, if you're ready to expand your mind, everybody tune in because this is going to be mind expanding. So yeah, this is it. This is it. Get ready for synapses to be blown open.
I'm ready.
Okay. So imagine that you have, you know, all of these friends that have all of these different skills, all of these different products, all of these different resources, right? So that's like what you're bringing to the table, your network, right? So when you see a need, you're like, where can I fill that need with anybody in my whole network here, right? So like
hold
almost.
Hold on. So when you say you see a need, are you saying something that I need or something?
No,
that
like something that Kat
needs?
needs. So Kat's like, you know, to fulfill my vision, I just need this. She's sharing all of the stakeholders with you that she needs in order to fulfill her vision. And you say, oh, Kat, I've got one of these for you, and I know somebody that's one of these. I got the best one of these for you, right? And so you're doing the matchmaking, right, of who's in your network to match up with her needs. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, and then you're saying because I match them, there's an incentive to match them?
Exactly. So we're building a system where basically that's built in, that there's like some referral commission, some, you know, matching commission that's built into the system into all transactions. So that's accounted for in the processing. Everybody using the system knows that like 10% is coming off the top to pay out commissions to who referred the business or something along those lines, right? So again, we'll see how it is. And that can be like a standard let 5%, 10%, whatever it's going to be. And that's, again, the default, but then anybody can have their own agreement in any particular relationship that can be custom. It can be standard ones that you have. So the system is an agreement system. That's a whole layer that we're bringing as a solution to the table. That's a whole layer of agreements. It's going to have agreements for everything in all circumstances, an agreement machine, essentially. So, and this is just an example of that. So does that answer your question, Burge?
Yes. So referral partners, basically, and they get
everybody is referral partners for everybody. So here's the mind-blowing part. So again, you already know everybody in your first level of your network because you know them. So you know who's coming to mind when you see that cat needs a so-and-so. But you don't know their networks. But in this system, because you've defined your network and they've defined their networks and everybody's, you can see your whole downline of
it sounds like direct marketing.
There's definitely direct marketing aspects, and I know there's legal things and we have to, be careful about that and all of that. But as much as we can, use the fact that, people should, if we can allow them to benefit however far down the line, within reason. But the idea is that, again, anybody can make the match. You can, it's there to be had, essentially. And this creates, talk about the gamification thing. Imagine the whole gamification of people making all these matches and earning just the fact to be able to earn all this money. And that's the thing, really, this is a system to allow people to have networks, like we talked about, Burge, to monetize their network, massively. Again, there will be lots of people that are doing nothing but monetizing their network, and that's all they're doing, making matches and making money from that. And so again, that's just an example of all the different ways that, it changes commerce, it changes how people spend time, it changes where people put time, because people can build a network and build influence to be able to monetize it. So they can start with nothing, build something up, monetize it, and, create a world. And influencers do that now on YouTube and that sort of thing. But this is in a whole kind of different way because of the platform that we're creating and the different tools and the whole thing, So anyways, I probably shared more than enough there. Any other questions, Burge, or anybody about those parts of it? Okay, so let me go ahead and continue. Thank you for asking about that, Burge. So the mind-blowing part was all of the layers down, right? So you can imagine, that
direct marketing.
Burge has 1,000 friends that she can pull from, but she's got, hundreds of thousands or even more, in just the second generation of all of those people. So again, when two people match, I'll just end with this because this is maybe this will be when two people, you've got your whole thing and they've got their whole thing. And when you two come together, all the ding, 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 all my needs over here with all of what you've got over here. Here's all the matches between our networks happening. You guys see that? When you come together, with two people.
It's a synapses brain kind of.
Exactly. It's all interconnected, and you get to see all the matches and all the synergies and all the areas that you care about the same and all of that. So yeah, it'll be amazing when we have this, and this is coming. We're creating this, we're calling it in. Who's ever creating it already, come and join us, plug in, let's make this happen. So, okay, let me go back.
Yeah, I already have somebody that's doing this. I told you that, Jared. They already have the gamification and the actual app and the software and everything.
Awesome.
They're doing this kind of thing for
awesome. Yeah,
the betterment of humanity, and on the same realm that we're talking about.
Wow.
Perfect. Let's get them on the leadership council.
Yeah.
So, okay, perfect. We'll follow up more with that later. So then again, the offers are the offers to the stakeholders directly, as well as, again, to referrers of those stakeholders. Because again, everybody's got a whole network they can bring to the table. Then it's once the offer is out there, hey, I'll give this to get that. Then it's a matter, again, of having an agreement, which is, the contract, the actual terms, actually, having a structure to get this done, between two entities. And then once the agreement is in place, the contract is in place, then the exchange happens, the win-win exchange happens, and you get what you want. So you can see that this is a very simple process, relatively, to go from saying what you want to getting what you want in a step-by-step way. Does everybody see that?
Mm-hmm.
So really it is like the manifestation machine, and it really is, you know, just kind of tweaking this along the way. It's like, what do I have to do to redefine this and this and this and this? And now we're going to go into it on a deeper level. So that's where I got to by last Friday. Now I'm going to show you where I went with this over the weekend. Okay, so I came up with the fact that there are 3 phases. Let me go back. So the 3 phases are this. There's a plan formulation phase, and that's where you're planning it all out and figuring it out. And I'm going to go into details about that. Then there's a team building phase, and that's when you're getting all these stakeholders together. So first you're defining the stakeholders that you need essentially, and then you're pulling all of those stakeholders together. And then that moves you finally, once you have all your stakeholders, to the manifestation phase, which is more of a project management type of thing going on, because you've already got all of the players showed up and now everybody's got to do their part and play their role. So any questions about the 3 general phases? And now I'll dive into deeper details in each of the phases. Nope. Okay, so let's start with the plan formulation phase. So again, what we're doing is we're applying these lenses, you know, really to each part. So, so this is what it looks like for each one of them in the formulation phase, something like this. So on the strategy side, we're developing all dimensions of the strategic plan. Essentially, we have to have a strategic plan for each part of these, a strategic plan around organizing, a strategic plan around financing. So we're going to get to that. This is the strategic plan for everything down here. So I'm going to walk you through all of that. But just know that that's what we're doing for the strategy side of this. Then the organizing is really identifying prospective vision holders. So I'm using this new term for me, so it's new for you for sure. This vision holder is somebody that's being a part of your team essentially during the plan formulation and team building phase. So they may not be a part of the manifestation phase. So let me use a good example. Like during your plan formulation phase, you're going to be coming up with these strategies. You're going to be coming up with these ideas. You might be running them by your boyfriend or your girlfriend or your husband or your wife or your son or your daughter or whatever, to have them help you flesh it out and come up with different ideas. And so they're being a vision holder for you. They're helping you work through the plan formulation and the team building phase, although they are, in that case, not going to be a stakeholder that's showing up to help actuate this project in the end and manifest it themselves. Does that make sense? Not necessarily, at least, right? Unless your partner's involved with it. But you get the idea that you're going to have people involved in helping you formulate the plan and assemble your team that may not be a part of the assembled team that you're working with. So we're calling those the vision holders, okay? So they're the ones that are being a part of your team essentially during the plan formulation and the team building phase. So does that make sense to everybody? Any questions about that?
I'm not sure. They're basically mentors?
They're not mentors. They could be analysts. You know, they could be somebody that has some technology analysis that can tell you what technology you need or what sort of video, you know, production. They could be helping you come up with a plan with some certain part of the plan. And then again, somebody else is going to get hired for that, but they're helping you figure out what your needs are. Does that make sense?
Now, do they get paid to do that?
They might, you know, again, it's going to be, how can you get them incentivized? So do you have, what are you offering Do you have something of value enough to them that they want to do this because you're doing it to achieve some vision that they're in alignment with, like all of you that are here because you're in alignment with it? Or is it something that somebody's going to be insisting on getting paid to do, or something like that? You'll have to see. It'll be a mix of things, right? Depending upon what your project is. So, but the distinction that I want to make for you guys is that you have these people being vision holders in these first two phases, different from your stakeholders, that will be involved in your team building and your manifestation phase, and they're helping you manifest. So is that clear to everybody? Because those are going to be potentially two different, entities that you're going to be working with throughout this process in different ways with each of those two different entities, right? And we might not have thought about this sort of thing before. We certainly haven't systematized it before, right? So again, now we're coming up with systems of ways of dealing with prospects, vision holder prospects, as well as stakeholder prospects, and our different communications to each one of those different types of groups. Make sense?
Mm-hmm.
So, okay, great. And then in addition to identifying our prospective vision holders and identifying our prospective stakeholders, we can identify prospective clients. If our project is serving the public or serving clients or serving whatever, there are others involved in, the whole organizing of it. So again, this is organizing happening during the plan formulation phase, because the organizing will look different in the other phases. That's part of what I'm showing with you guys. So, what's going to be happening in each one of these areas is different during each phase, right? So this is what's happening in the organizing phase during the plan formulation. So to give you guys, again, an idea, imagine that for our 3-month, term for the Leadership Council, imagine, and it may go like this, or some people may be accelerated or some people may be delayed, but imagine that we're spending the first month working the plan formulation phase, and then the second month working our team building phase, and then the third month working our manifestation phase. So this may actually be a good flow for us to aspire to, as a group in terms of the timing of moving through these processes. So this, you can imagine, is the process that we might be going through, let's say, over the first month of these next 3 months. So let's say the month of January, that you are identifying your prospective vision holder. That should say prospective. That's talk to text mistake there. So the prospective vision holders, prospective stakeholders, prospective clients. Okay, any questions about identifying those? And you guys see why we're doing this in this phase. Then the management is where, at this point, getting everything entered into the manifestation process system. So the system is now what I'm going to start to program into the website based on actually what you guys are sharing with me as the feedback about like how we're building this and what you need and what you want to see and that sort of thing. So as an example, and I'm just going to use a quick example so it's tangible for you. So Burge, if you're going ahead and sharing your vision, and then you're going ahead and you're saying, to achieve my vision, I'm going to need, this certain sort of financing. And so you put that out there and you say, I know that I would like to raise, $30,000 to do this, but I'm not really sure, what's the best way to do that. So can somebody please, give me some support on this? And so then you would want to have people be able to comment, right, on that, and you to be able to see their comment and you to be able to comment on them, and, simple commenting system type of thing as an example. That's not built yet. So if we want to build something like that, we have to decide where that is in the priority of, all of these other pieces, because I'm laying it all out now. So I'm laying it all out with the idea for the whole team to be able to help guide the development based on demand, because you're going to be the first users of this system. And the reason that you guys are using this system, and the reason anybody wants to use this system, is this. Let me just share this really quickly. And I see as well, I have to apologize because I see that we're only at 9:15, and I say only because I know we've been on the line for an hour and 15 minutes already. but there is actually a lot more I have to share, to get this whole complete thought out. So whoever can stick around after 9:30, that's awesome. And obviously everybody's invited, but I know as well that we only plan to 9:30. So anybody that has to get off, we totally understand, and the video will be available. And I apologize that the video is going to go longer than an hour and a half. So any questions or comments before I dive back in now that I've shared that? So the thing that we so in terms of the analysis that we're doing right now, let me actually go back in and share again. Oh, I was sharing. That's funny. I thought I wasn't sharing anymore. Sorry about that. Let me go back so I can see it. Okay. So yeah, so getting everything into the manifestation system will be the management aspect of the planning phase, and putting the prospects in a client relationship management system. So most people, if you're going to start to have a number of different people you're reaching out to that are potential vision holders, a number of potential stakeholders, then you'll want to be using some kind of client relationship management system. I think most people here have used some client relationship management system. Am I right in that? Either something like a Salesforce or a HubSpot, or way back in the day, Act, for those of you like me,
Oh my God.
Act back in the day.
Yep.
Yeah.
I still have ACT, but I use
Oh my God.
Infusionsoft. I don't use ACT anymore, but I still have it. I use
That's great.
Infusionsoft,
Yes.
which is now Key.
I used ACT for a long time. So the idea again is that we're systematizing this. What I wanted to say, I lost my train of thought before. What I wanted to say before is that you guys have the opportunity to use this system. What we're doing right now is we are performing at a much higher level in terms of creating manifestations than really anybody ever has quickly, because what we're doing is we're systematizing the whole process. So if you think about it, if you think about the fact that everybody wants to manifest something, right? People are constantly working on manifesting things, right? And yet we don't have any systematized way of manifesting things, especially in combination with others, right? Let alone doing it for ourselves. So if you think about it, it's almost like lunacy that all of us are trying to do like the same thing. We're trying to manifest things, but we don't have like a systematic step-by-step like formula that we can apply to actually manifest things, and to learn from others that have already manifested the same sort of thing, and have a system that's actually taking all of the different ways that people are manifesting things and putting it all together as data points. Because almost everything that you want to do is very similar to something that somebody just did yesterday, in California, and somebody's going to do tomorrow in Missouri. It's like we're doing the same things as a society over and over and over again, and we're not learning from others. So
Right.
what this is doing is this is systematizing it. So essentially, as soon as we say, I want to do this, the system knows, oh, that looks exactly like what this other person did. Like, here's all the things that you need. Like, in order for you to manifest this is all the things that you need to get done. So we're being very manual in that we're the first ones like laying the roadmap. But what we're doing is, as we are manifesting anything, we're leaving all the breadcrumbs for the next person that's coming along, so that they don't have to repeat that, and they're going to get to start where we left off, and us, from everybody else. And so this is the reality that we're starting to live into right away. And so this is what we're in the beginning is going to look like, a bit of legwork for us. But what we're doing also is we're creating such a systematic process for everybody to know how they manifest things. Like oh, first I have to find my vision holders, and then I have to find my stakeholders, and then I have to give them offers, and then I have to, have an agreement, and then I have to have, a contract, and then you get what I'm saying? It's like so systematized to actually get these things done in the material world that those that are actually getting things done now are speaking a language with each other. It's like, oh, let me see your, financial plan. Oh, let me see your outreach plan. Oh, let me see, where are you at with this part? Like we're all speaking the same language about how to manifest things. And we're all like sending each other all these different referrals and all these different things. And we're all just like, vortexes of manifestation in a whole world that just exists in that way, in a natural way. You guys see how that's like coming?
Yes.
And so again, it's really, well, we're being the trailblazers, and with every manifestation that each one of you put into the system and manifest, you're literally showing the world how to get this done. And especially all of you that are real manifestors. And this is where each one of us gets to decide, like, what am I willing to say I'm going to get done in the next 3 months? Like, what am I willing to give my word to and start to shout off, from the rooftops, hey, everybody join me because we are going to get, we're going to do this. And, I think part of it is not necessarily having to say that the whole end thing is going to be completed in 3 months, because you can see that what we're doing is we're putting ourselves on a launching pad, and we're doing all these like really high level things to get like super sophisticated projects off the ground, with lots. So that's why what I'm showing you is the very, very detailed, like broken down systems, because this is a scalable system. If you're a person that just needs to pull 2 or 3 people together to get something done, then you're going to breeze through some of these things and not have to go as deep in the analysis, but you still have the whole framework and structure to work off of. And, you guys can use it anybody can use it to be able to come to agreement around any shared vision. Does everybody see all that? It's how we actually get things done, is we put it into words, we put it into agreements, and now we get things done. So, what I'm describing has been informally done by everybody around everything. It's just that it's all informal, it's all personal, it's all, not in a way that's replicable by other people. So it's like, it's so infantile in the evolution of our sophistication as a society, if you think about it. Now, as a society, to start to get in this systematized way of doing all of this, that we're operating at that level, that's what, that's the shift that's going to blow humanity, away, really, just with this, And again, this is one of like 20 different solutions, but you see, where this stands. And so let's go back to what we're working with here. Thank you for indulging me on that. I really wanted to get that out so everybody could feel that and be a part of this. So we're putting it into the system. We're putting the prospects in the client relationship management system. The technology is where we choose the client relationship management system, just at this level, just in the plan formulation phase, is where we're choosing the client relationship management system so that we're actually doing these things with a client management system. And then the outreach is reaching out to the prospects. At this case, at this phase, the vision holders are the prospects, and we're offering an incentive to provide feedback. So, again, like you were saying, Burge, if you are asking, your friends, your coworkers, your whatever it is, to provide feedback to you on how do I make this plan better? I'm in the plan formulation phase. Please give me your input to help this be great. What incentive are you able to offer them that they're, willing to provide that? So that definitely has to be a part of the process of all of this to figure that out. And then lastly, the finances at this phase, coming up with a rough financial plan, including a budget and a plan to cover the budget. So that's the 6 areas in the plan formulation phase, save for the strategic plan, which remember was the first part of the 6. And now I'm going to go through the strategic plan because this is what you guys are about to do right now. So any questions about this? Okay, and I'm gonna spoiler alert, we're gonna set up a buddy system as well. So you guys can start thinking about who you wanna be your buddy in this process as you plan. Let me go back to the agenda to show you guys something. So, okay, so for the 3-month project, we're going to use a buddy system within the Leadership Council to help apply the manifestation process. So you guys are getting the training on it now. I'm going to be providing the tools. We're going to help build the tools. And then the collective project that we're having, and this is where I get to play this game just like you guys, to fill in all of my plans for the collective project, which is to create a membership organization of people who want to work cooperatively and collaboratively to create results beyond what they can create on their own. So that's essentially what, I came to all of you with, the Leadership Council with. We had, up until a couple of weeks ago, up until our last meeting, we had been leading with the collective solutions framework. Right? That's what I talked with each of you about, was the collective solutions framework. But based on feedback that I got from different people, I realized that really the lead was a system that would allow each one of you to manifest what you want in your life, right? In your business or in your relationship or in your things that you care about in the world. And that's why we're focusing now on the manifestation process, because as everyone here uses the manifestation process to create whatever you want in your world, then you'll also be able to bring that to the table with, collectively around us creating this whole project together, right? Through your referrals and all the different ways we're going to be adding to our Leadership Council and all of our resources and all of that sort of thing. So makes sense? Clear to everybody the game that we're playing? And this is where also, to give you an idea, well, I'm skipping ahead, so I won't skip ahead. So let me go back. So I'm sorry, my screen is covered. Okay, so coming down to the strategic plan. Okay, so the organizational plan. So what is your plan for recruiting and organizing the stakeholders required to fulfill your vision? And now I'm also calling those stakeholders team members. You'll see in the next phase. So, what's your plan for doing that? So for example, like a leadership council. So this, I think, may become a very standardized way to, help recruit and organize stakeholders. So again, I'm forming a leadership council. With the leadership council, all of you are going to refer in the stakeholders that we need collectively to be able to manifest everything. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
So as each one of you create your own vision and you're manifesting your own vision, there's a good chance that you may want to, start to develop a leadership council around your vision, which is going to be all of the types of people around you in your orbit that are vision holders for your vision that can help bring in your stakeholders for your project. Does that make sense? So you're being a leadership council member, you're understanding how the leadership council serves this process. Then you're going to be a leadership council convener, right? A leadership council leader convening a leadership council. Now, all of those people participating on your council are going to know how this game works, and they're going to be able to go and be a leadership council leader and convene their own council for their own, project. You see how that goes? So it's a very viral thing, like we're, mentoring essentially over the 3 months, that all of you are getting the training over these 3 months. Then you'll go and you'll actually do it. And then all of the people that you're doing it with, your leadership council will be getting the training. And so there's that kind of viral spreading. So that's an example of a strategy to implement to help the organizational process. Does that make sense? Help facilitate how you're going to organize things. So the organizing is basically organizing amongst the stakeholders that you need in order to carry out your vision or achieve your vision. Make sense? So then it's the management plan. So how is the whole project going to be managed? So again, imagine that you've got all of your stakeholders, they've all shown up. We've got everyone we need here to get this job done. So now, if it's going to be like herding cats, which it often is, then who are going to be the ones that are going to be doing the herding? So this again is like a reality check for people who, thought that they could just put visions out into the world and then like get all the stakeholders that they need there, and then just it will all happen automatically. Like, no, like you need people that are, being the ones that are, the ringleaders, so to speak, right, around that vision, that are walking the communications around the stakeholders and getting them all, organized. And, the job that I'm doing with this leadership council, right? It's like there has to be somebody that's helping to, hold it all together and make sure all the parts are moving and manage the whole project, right? So that's a real integral part of this, is to understand like how will the project be managed, and like who, just to even define the role of the project manager for your project, even if you don't have that person selected yet, that like we're going to need somebody that's going to be able to do this in order to actually get this whole thing done. Does that make sense? Really, this whole framework, this whole thing is a reality check on people's visions, essentially, right? Especially in the plan formulation process. It's like, how much do you really want to see this vision, get achieved? Because now you're getting the reality of like what it's going to actually take to put this into a grounded reality with all of these different lenses in the actual real world to create the results that you're saying. Does everybody see that? Mm-hmm. So it's like simultaneously a manifestation machine, but also like really requiring, showing people what it takes to manifest things. All the magic can show up in a magical way, and you still need all of those different types of stakeholders actually showing up to get things done. So any questions? Okay, so the technology plan is really a plan, a description of the different technologies that are going to be required to fulfill, this whole vision, whether it's video editing or client relationship management system or communications platform like Slack or whatever it might be. So the plan has to be specified to the level of cost, because any costs associated with this need to be accounted for in the financial plan. So again, same thing with the management plan. Do we have costs there? Do we have costs here? Again, all of this is the reality of what it takes to manifest something. If it requires, money, we've got to identify that. So the outreach plan covers both outreach to prospective stakeholders as well as outreach to prospective members or clients or media or vision holders. So again, there's a lot of different, aspects of outreach across an entire project or the entire realization of a vision, right? So it's specific to your specific vision, but you can imagine you've at least got some kind of outreach to your vision holders to get them enrolled to support you in your formulation, phase. And then you've got an outreach to prospective stakeholders to enroll them in being a part and team members being a part. And there's other communications you're going to have. So these are the different types of outreach that you are identifying and you are planning for along the way. Now here's, again, where this starts to go as we're systematizing all of this. We can start to provide templates and guides and best practices as how to do all this outreach at each of these phases or each of these types of recipients of the outreach, creating case studies and best practices. So again, that's part of the awesomeness of all of this, is as it gets all systematized, now you've got all these tutorial videos and you've got all these people that will help you in all these different ways to be able to, I need vision holders, vision holder 101, here it is. Or, I can just pay, $300 to this person and they're going to go ahead and find all my vision holders for me, So again, it's systematizing it in a way that it all is showing up in your reality exactly the way that you're looking for. So any questions about the technology plan or the outreach plan before I go into the financial plan and the overall strategic plan? Nope. Okay. So the financial plan is this is an example of like choose the following. So this is one example where I wanted to create like a checklist, like, Are you going to use crowdfunding as part of your, vision fulfillment? Or are you going to use grants? Or are you going to use sales? Where are you getting, or are you going to raise money is another one that we're going to have on here. So, and again, if it's crowdfunding, are you being crowdfunded by the stakeholders or partners that you're creating this with? Are you doing some kind of membership like we're doing? If you have a membership, what are your different levels? Do you have members? Do you have patrons? What are the expectations of members? So again, this is all systematized. So it's all like paint by numbers, basically, right? As more and more people are doing this, then it's all of just like filling out a survey and all of the pieces. Here's this flyer to send out. Here's this thing to post on social media. Here's how you build a membership. Here's what, all the different pieces to run a membership. So again, it's really giving people the tools to be able to do all of these different things, even for sales, again, to have the affiliate system built in, and they can just fill out their catalog, and now all of a sudden they're making money on their profile and all of the sorts of things. So these are examples of giving people a really simple, like, build your financial plan to, to fulfill the vision that you're, creating. Any questions about that? You're right. Yeah, go ahead, Burge.
When you say you are I can't say the word.
Systematizing.
The plan for strategy, are you saying we choose whichever one, and then how do you what's the word?
Systematize.
Systematize that.
Yes.
How is that just plug and play? Say, hey, I'm
again, right now, if you want to, so you have a vision, right? Whatever your vision is. So let's say it's to build a new school in Africa, as we talked about, right? And so let's say that to build a new school in Africa, that you want to crowdfund that from a whole bunch of people, right? And so you are going to have all these templates of, okay, so here's, example number one of how somebody crowdfunded this, and example number two of how somebody crowdfunded this. And as soon, when we have lots and lots of users, you'll actually be able to pull up templates of how people crowdfunded creating a school, and you can soon have 20 different examples of how people crowdfunded.
Who creates the templates?
Templates, yes.
Who creates the templates?
Oh, again, everybody that uses the system is both using everything else that was there as a template, and they're creating their new template. It's the best example. The best way to describe it is artificial intelligence enhanced learning, so that as you have different people using it and tracking what they're doing, then you can see like who's doing the best, who's getting the best results. And you can find out best practices once you have a bunch of different data points.
So, okay, so what you're saying is we have to come up with the actual, say, template of how we're going to do it, and we put it into the system. It's not like the system's going to give us that unless we've got a million of them in there or something.
Yeah, exactly.
Each
right.
person,
You're right.
Has to do that, right?
Yeah, you being an early user, you do not have a template to follow. The only templates you're going to have to follow are going to be your co-leadership council members and other sponsors that are doing it at the same time. And you're going to be able to see what they're doing and see what you can learn from them. And that's part, of this process. Again, it's a group learning process. We're going to be doing it in real time. But yes, the system is every time somebody uses the system, they're creating a template, so to speak. And then once that set of data points is combined with other data points, then it's getting better and better and more refined and better towards a best practices idealized model.
Okay. So we're creating the model as we go.
Exactly. Yep. Everybody, yes. At this point, we're creating the model as we go. Good way of putting it. Any other questions or comments at this point? Nope. Okay, so essentially the overall strategic plan is that once we've run through each one of these, and again, this is going to be a self-service thing. So I'm going to share this document with you guys. This is an inspiration to get your Google account set up so you can have access to this document, which is on our Google Drive now.
So basically that's our incentive to sign up to the Google Drive, is we're going to get that document.
Exactly. So you guys see how this works. It's very simple, right? Simple.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
perfect example. So this is the,
Clever boy.
you know, demonstrate. I've
Where'd
been
you learn
taught.
that? Where'd you learn that?
Exactly. Yes,
Speaking
that
of
is.
demonstrating, I have another call from my bookkeeper. She's been driving me crazy. So I've got to go to her call tonight so she can do whatever she needs to do. But are you going to send us the rest of this?
Yeah, and I'm going to breeze through the next phase because we're going to we're all going to be in this phase until we get to the next phase. I'll introduce.
I appreciate it. And so if you'll send me that, but also I'll make sure my assistant, actually, she hadn't been here for 3 weeks. So she's coming in tomorrow for the first time. So she's going to sign me up for all that stuff that you need me to do.
Perfect. Awesome. Great to have you here, Birds. Thank you for all the great questions so that we can make this really clear for everybody. That's really great.
Thank you.
Bye, Burge.
Bye, Kat. Bye, Michael. Bye, Aaron.
Bye, Burge.
Bye.
Bye.
Happy New Year.
Okay.
Okay. And Aaron just jumped off as well. Good night, Aaron. Just saw his message. Thank you, Michael, for continuing to stick it out. And thank you, Kat, as well, for sticking it out here. I appreciate you guys. Anything you guys want to share before we go into the next phase?
I would. Jared, I mean, on a personal level, I understand what you've laid out here, and I'm sorry that you didn't have a larger audience enough, I think, to really appreciate what you're doing. And in my own mind, like, I always try to, everything's sort of, you balance it off of your own experiences. I remember way back in the day when I was learning to machine code. And, it was just this hugely redundant system of basically writing the same code over and over and over and over and over again. And, to Kat, what happened was, in programming computers, this advent of what was called object oriented programming came along, wherein instead of a poor person having to write the same code again and again and again and again, what became available was these blocks of code, objects essentially, that you could just pull in and create a really magnificent program for a computer to run some situation, just whatever, some simulations, whatever you wanted. And really what, and correct me if I'm misinterpreting any of this, but what this really is almost that same thing, except for various people act almost as these little pieces of code that then get pulled in through this system to actually produce something not in a computer, but actually out in the world, to manifest something out in the world without having to go through the redundancy again and again and again and again, whatever. And really that, especially that one part, we were just talking about, like, the basic contracts and all those stupid ass things that everybody has to freaking deal with. Like, that alone is that's a magnificent thought and idea, Jared. And I just want to commend you for that. And I know, like, this small whatever thing of, like, beating down holiday people, and I don't know what was going on with Angie, and, like, I'm looking at the ceiling and her boyfriend, whatever. I just want you to understand that I for one really see the brilliance of what you're trying to do here, and so I just want to relate that to you. Okay. And I'm not on my game at all. And I've probably been to the bathroom 8 times. And, like, this, I mean, it's unbelievable.
Thank you for muting.
It is. Well, I could have left it on with Angie and we could have, like, danced there, Oh my God. And I'm sorry, but I just on a funny, whatever, no, I just, It's just funny. Anyways, I mean, and this comes obviously as everyone's coming out, in deference to Angie and the rest of it. Everybody's coming off of a rough holiday season. The COVID thing exploded.
Mhm.
Everybody's like in chaos up here
Mhm.
anyway. I don't know. I mean, I don't know what it's like down there, but so anyway, but I didn't want you to lose, you kind of built it and you're like, this part's gotta be mind blowing, whatever. And it really was a brilliant idea. And I just want to share with you that I acknowledge that I see that. So, okay,
Thank you,
that's
Michael.
all I want to put in.
Thank
Yeah,
you, Michael. Mhm.
Yeah, I really appreciate that. I really appreciate you sharing that. And yeah, I knew that we were going to have a relatively small audience tonight, and I knew that it really doesn't matter. And it's really, it's awesome and it's perfect, actually, the people that were here tonight. And it really is, enduring the inherent brilliance of all of this, the different pieces that we're talking about tonight, all the other part, like, it's been a while now since I've just had to be very secure in the brilliance of all the different ideas and understand the inherent brilliance of all of it without having to have anybody else understand what I've been talking about, because there's been many years that no one's understood, what I've been working on getting out.
But really, Jared, I mean, just to share with you, like, I cannot even explain to you, there was an entire city of people. And for the longest time, they're like, what is that idiot long blonde haired guy going up in that woods with a pickaxe? And he's got like 8 fucking different degrees, and the rest of it. What the fuck? And nobody understood. And I was like, that's okay. That's okay. Because I know where I'm headed here,
Mhm.
And many years later,
Turned
right,
out.
I emerge out of the woods, whatever this project comes out from behind its closet doors, if you will, right?
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, everybody's like, whoa. And that's the tipping point. That's what Malcolm Gladwell talks about in his,
Mhm.
beautiful things. That's the 100th monkey. It's all of a sudden, you have somebody who has an idea and they chip away at it, chip away at it, chip away with it. I just wanted, it just felt like there was I wanted to hear like roars of, yeah, whatever coming in the background. I wish I had like a sound generator, one of those things
It's
I could have put on, on Zoom here. But I'm glad that you're okay with that too. So,
yeah.
good job.
Yeah, no, thank you. I really appreciate you saying that. And it's so perfect what you just said in terms of like the roar of the crowd, that there have been times that I've practiced, visualizations of just being in front of like millions of people just cheering,
That's perfect. That's perfect, because in essence, at a certain point, we just have to give ourselves the credit that we know is there, inherent or whatever. But
Mhm.
but it as I'm sort of very stream of consciousness right now, because I'm this has been just I would like to see Burge's video, if you like could just make it easy for me and maybe just send me a direct link to the video of what that session she had with you.
Yeah,
Because
absolutely.
there is a piece of this, and I know Kat's gonna resonate with this. There is a piece of this that is, I think, is still tough, and that is making tangible these concepts that you've obviously spent a great deal of time programming and putting into here for other people who are not certainly on that that sort of techie level sort of end of things, but in order to to sort of entice them to bring them into this. I mean, there was that, she sort of smiled and made, oh, that's your enticement for me getting this document, whatever. But on a larger sense, any marketer knows like what you're trying to do is sell a product, at a certain level. And there still is like a level of abstraction here. And even me, I mean, just for tonight, like tonight was that just going through that was a great, it was additive of my understanding of what this is and what you're trying to achieve here. but I still think that there's more there. And it'd be nice just to, I'd like to see what questions she asked. You
Mhm.
know, I've been certainly sort of floating this to a few people that I really respect. And I've noticed that in my own presentation of it to them, it's been hard for me to like, there's still a nebulous
Or
kind
a
of cloud.
disconnect, because it's this genius guy has a system and we're all going to plug into the system, right?
Right,
And yeah, the presentation of it was cool, and I know that you're on the right track. And we need I think that's a great idea, Michael, because I was understanding how the pieces can fit together.
Yeah.
And I think that the greatest skeptic in the world is still like, well, how's that different than whatever? Or how is this really going to work? Like, is this really going to work? Like, there's just general skepticism over pulling together systems and distinguishing how we are a nut above the other previous systems that have been tried.
So
We're
Jared,
trying to McDonaldize global accomplishment. You know, we're trying to like McDonald's.
the best.
McDonald's, like,
McDonald's. I've never
all
heard.
they did
That's
was
a-
make burgers, but they like literally drew it out how they were going to make burgers different and faster and more efficiently.
Yeah.
And we are like, beyond making burgers, we're trying to like save the world. So we have to McDonaldize the saving of the world. And so we need to like show people. And, you know, Jared and I were talking about, Michael, have you seen those explainer videos where somebody's drawing stuff and somebody
exactly that.
we actually
yes.
want to make a 3-minute
Yes.
explainer for this, because it's
Yes.
so over the top what we're trying to
Yes.
do, that we need to put it into like a more simpler 6th grade level for people to go, oh, okay. You know,
so,
that, and we are planning to create one.
okay.
Yeah.
I have like a little, I mean, I'm just going to suggest this. And if you guys are already sort of on that track, Jared, I think what it like, so, you know, we're calling for like everybody to put a project into this. What I would, and have a partner, what if Kat and I sat together sort of, and again, I'd like to see that little vignette of even the questions. I mean, because that's a perfect example. You have this new person coming in, Burge, right? You can see her struggling to figure out what exactly this is. And more than anybody else, she's actually unembarrassed, I think, enough or forthright enough to actually ask the questions, which, you know, might make her look stupid in front of a bunch of people, but really, I think she's right on this and stuff. And so what if maybe our like little co-project here was to sort of try to come up with maybe an angle or something at this. I feel like you're very, very close to this project. And at that point, sometimes that's a little bit of a disadvantage because you've already got all this in your head. You know what I mean? And it gets increasingly harder to sort of pull out to see like what the common man, for instance, would coming into this is going to sort of ask or wonder or whatever, because in your head, it's right there. It's like you can kind of reach for it right there. I don't know, you know, Kat, if you and I had a little time and we could just, I don't know, you know, do again a meeting or something like that. But I'd like to see first like Burge's questions.
Yeah, 100%. And then you and I meet and maybe give some feedback to Jared.
Yeah, or even come back to Jared with some more questions that the common man might, you know, need answered or something like that. And then Jared, you could answer them as concisely as you could, and then build upon there. Because I really think that, I mean, look at, I mean, Kevin, freaking A, if I've ever met a human being that just was powerful, just, I mean, unbelievable. I mean, wow. Like, I was like, bam, like, of course, Kevin is on this, you know? I mean, really, what excites me is the powerhouse of people that really are, you know, are suddenly appearing. I don't know, and the fact that I even know them, I mean, like, you know, is pretty pretty damn cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, I still think that they just a clear, like United for Dummies, like let's have a little book, of like United for Action for Dummies,
Yeah, and that-
to put this there. Yeah.
I totally hear what you're saying, Michael, and I really appreciate you coming from that space, you and Kat, of really wanting to, make it simple, understandable. Kat's been, saying that from the beginning over and over. She keeps coming up with different ways to try to explain it in a simple way. One of the latest that Kat and I talked about is kind of like a chamber of commerce, right? Where everyone who's joining is joining the Chamber of Commerce of working together cooperatively and collaboratively. And it's kind of like use a chamber member first. It's kind of like, everybody is here to support each other and work together, cooperatively and collaboratively, and refer other people into this system so that they can also, cooperate and collaborate on some of these things. So that's, one way that we talked about describing it. The thing, that is forefront in my mind, and I feel like we did a really hard pivot just in the last 2 weeks, because up until 2 weeks ago, it was the collective solutions framework. Like I said, that was leading the show. That was what I started the conversation with all of you guys. And now we've gone to the manifestation process, which is, as you know, a different solution with a different orientation and all of that. And this is what I mentioned a little bit in the last meeting, and I'm open to any of the other solutions. This is where, like, Kat and I started to do it, and I need to do it probably with you guys and the whole executive team, is run through all of the like 10 or 20 different solutions that I've outlined at this point that are going to be on our solutions page. It's part of what I'm doing now. I've been saying to myself, I need to at least put a line or two down for each one so they can all be there. And then we have these different solutions. Right now, this seems to be the solution in my mind that is the thing that, is the most widespread, applicable, interesting, although it is a bit complex at this point. And I think, again, we can make it much simpler, and I know it'll get much simpler as we start to use it even amongst ourselves. But I think even, for an individual that's coming in that just wants to manifest something, to have a quick, 3-step process or whatever it can be, to me, what brings people here is working together cooperatively and collaboratively. And then now we're providing the tools to actually let them create results in their life, because lots of what they want requires cooperation and collaboration with others. So here's your tool to actually get what you want, in your collaborative world. Mm-hmm. So that's kind of the simplest way that I see it at the moment. And then for you guys, to take that and, drill it down, make it simpler, decide that's not the way to lead it, and we should be looking at a different solution as a gateway for people. I'm open to it all. So I'm open to your guys' feedback.
I appreciate that. And I mean, it really just is a matter of certainly the simpler, the better, I mean, that works in any engineering, any problem, any area of the universe, basically.
Of course.
And really, honestly, putting your very best foot forward, right from the start. So, and I mean, all these are concepts that we've spoken about, obviously, but I'd like to, it was interesting opening up and hearing you talk about that Burge had all these questions that you went together on for a while. I would just like to sort of review her questions, and then, and
we're not making the whole video public at the moment, although I'm open. Maybe Burge will want to, but I did already get her permission to share it with the executive team, with you guys specifically. So yeah.
Perfect. Yeah, let's look at it, and then Michael and I are gonna sync on that, and then we're gonna bring some feedback to you, and I think we'll be able to kind of coalesce it to the next level. Because I think what's happening is you are such a smart guy that you need some folks to help you make it more not real, what's the word? Concrete for people.
Mhm.
It's like, I think it's still living too much in the world of concepts and it's going over people's heads. But I totally get that there's somewhere very organized that you're going, that these 6 things make up what you need to do to accomplish something. Each element is required to get something done in the world. And this is what we're going to do. And I just think we need to put some bows around it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I totally agree and understand. And I appreciate your guys' willingness and ability to do that. I think it's really great. I think if it's okay with you guys, in addition to, giving me what you conclude and all of that, if you guys would record that meeting so I
Sure.
can, see the whole recording and see the whole process and see all the different things you guys are bringing up and all of that. Not just me, but for the world, as we're making all of this open source so people can see the whole process of how you're helping to guide and steer. Because I think, again, to me, this is like the case study in how this works, right? You guys are showing that, okay, so you're bringing this up at this meeting. Now you're going to go and have this side meeting, and this is what you all discussed, and this is where it went to, and this is how it got presented, and this is what it turned into. And again, we're teaching the world how to do all of this so that anybody that's dealing with this doesn't have to repeat this.
Yeah,
right?
making things transparent. I love it.
It's a cool fractal.
Totally.
It's down and down and down again and again and again and again. It's
Yes, a fractal.
Exactly.
I love it.
Exactly.
Yeah, so send us the Burj thing and then we'll sync up and then we'll get back to you in the next week.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. And when you, just as a matter, I don't know if you guys have noticed this, when you're recording from Zoom, if you record on your computer, it only records the speaker view, or at least it used to. When you record in the cloud, it gives you several different views. So that way, when you can get both a gallery view and a speaker view, and by having both of those feeds, basically, then we can do a more sophisticated edit in the future whenever we want to, whenever we have the resources to do that.
Okay.
So yeah, record to the cloud if you can, and then send me both the gallery version and the speaker version, and then I'll have the original, and then we'll publish for now the gallery view. The gallery view is always what we publish on YouTube. And then, but again, we'll have the speaker view for when we want to do some editing in the future around it.
Okay, cool.
Gotcha.
All
right.
right.
So Kat and I'll just, Kat, when you've watched that and I've watched it, we'll just
sync up with you.
Yeah,
we'll work, and then when we record, we'll record in the cloud. Got it. Cool.
Yeah, that's perfect. Okay. I think because of the sake of time, since we've gone over so much already, let's not go into the second phase tonight. Perhaps I'll shoot a separate video to send to you and send to the Leadership Council. Let's end now that we've completed the first phase. Let me just see if there's anything else on the agenda that I wanted to cover. I really appreciate, where you guys took it at the end here, and what the support that you guys are providing, and the good place that we're leaving all of this.
Jared, you're such a good people manager. It's just, you always come back with a nice comment or it really is amazing to watch.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I have to attribute a lot of this to Dale Carnegie's How to Win Friends and Influence People.
Nice.
That's been my Bible in terms of how to relate to people. So I'll just say very quickly to go, I don't want to take up a lot of meeting time on recording, but it's relevant to a certain degree. I was the shyest person growing up. I didn't even speak to my friends' parents. I didn't speak to anybody. I didn't speak growing up. I was so introverted and so shy. And then in the summer before my senior year of high school through senior year into the next summer, I was a telemarketer for the Police Athletic League and the Police Benevolent Association in South Florida. And I quickly became the top caller in the room because I became so good at talking with people. So that was my first training in just talking and relating with people. And then from that experience after college, when I moved to Seattle, as I was working on getting a real job, I just found a 3-month telemarketer position with the zoo. They were doing a challenge campaign. And so they needed to raise some money from their membership over 3 months for the rainforest exhibit. So I jumped on board with that. I started doing so well that they started giving me all of their top donors. And by the end, everybody was asking, all the members for $1,000 spread out over 3 years and monthly installments, quarterly installments, something like that. They were having me ask their donors for $10,000, and I was getting yeses over the phone for $10,000 commitments with their patrons and that sort of thing. And even one said, I'll give you, 20,000, or I'll give you 10,000 all at once. And I said, well, if you're going to give 10,000 all at once, can I put you down for 10,000 a year for the next 3 years and just have you, give 30,000? We could really use it. It's going to get matched now. And they said, okay. And so they went ahead and did that. And when this got back to their leadership that I was only asking for $10,000, but I ended up getting $30,000 from this one donor. And this was actually a donor that had been estranged a bit, and they weren't like on good terms with them. And this was like the reunion and whatever. Out of the whole office of 20 people, we raised $500,000 over 3 months, and I personally raised $250,000. I personally raised half of it. And so it ended up giving me the opportunity to meet with the executive director for the zoo and interview for their vacant membership director position. So I became the membership director of the zoo as my first professional position after graduating with a degree in aerospace engineering once I moved to Seattle, and was the membership director of the Woodland Park Zoo, which had 35,000 member families at the time, which was like the second biggest membership in Seattle. So it's really amazing. I just had to share that quick story, but yeah, thank you for the acknowledgement, Michael. That and How to Win Friends and Influence People, which has been my Bible, is, given me kind of the foundation for relating with people.
All of our lives are adding up to where we're going.
Yeah, exactly. It's been a wild ride. That and Landmark and Gratitude and Essence of Being. I mean, there's been so much, but thank you for acknowledging how well I've been doing, because I've been practicing really hard to do well. So I appreciate that. I think we covered everything. I was looking at my agenda. Let me just look really quick, make sure there wasn't anything left that we have to cover. No. So, okay. So what we'll do from here, I'll send you guys the video with Burge. You guys will meet together. I think, Michael, I want to have a one-on-one with you this week. Maybe Kat and I have a one-on-one scheduled for tomorrow, but it sounds like, Kat, maybe you and Michael should meet before you and I meet. Either that, or once you two meet, maybe I should meet with both of you. I think you guys meet, and then you guys decide how you think the rest of our meetings should go for the week.
Yeah, that sounds good.
And also that, we have Rico and Dylan as part of the executive team to figure out, where to have them in the meeting schedule and all of that as well. Whether we should have one executive team meeting. I'll leave it up to you guys to let you give me some input about where you think we're at in terms of a weekly executive team meeting, or still individual meetings ad hoc as needed, or whatever. I'm open to suggestions. So let's start with you two meeting together, and then you guys can kind of figure out where we're going to steer a little bit from there. Sound good?
Sounds good.
Good.
Okay. I really appreciate you guys. I honor you guys and appreciate you guys. I'm so grateful for your participation and everything that we're doing here. It's super exciting, and I'm feeling really energized right now with where we're at around all of this, and really excited about the vortex we're in right now. We're definitely about to pull in a lot more energy from where we're at, with more people and more things showing up and all of that. I know you guys will be experiencing that
It's
yourself.
already pulled in some pretty heavy hitters. I mean,
Yeah, for sure.
In my limited knowledge of just knowing some of these people, these are people who sort of really stood out to me. So,
Pretty awesome.
can't go wrong there.
Nope.
Yeah, thank you. I really appreciate that. So onward and upward, we continue.
Onward and upward. Ah,
All right.
okay. Good night.
Good to be with you guys.
Okay.
All
Have a
right.
great night.
Good night.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.